Hi everyone and welcome to Season 12, Episode 6 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, does anybody want to finish top half of the table with Truro City in the Premier League? I bloomin' well do, and it looks like it's going to happen. 7 games to go of this season, currently sitting in 8th position and looking pretty good with it. Today, the team directly above us are the opponents, Arsenal. Let's see if we can pull off an upset. So, as you can imagine, for us to be sitting up in 8th position in the Premier League, having only 7 matches left of the season, things must have been going pretty well, and they really have. If we go and have a look at the fixture list, you can see that the last month through February, we did not lose. We got a couple of draws in there against Palace, Leicester City and Watford, but we also got wins against Leeds United, Southampton and Newcastle, and with that real surprise win over Man City before that, it's all gone really well. You can see the run of form we were on before that in January was fairly ropey. So we turned that around very nicely. But we do have a very tricky next few matches. Arsenal, Man United, West Ham, Liverpool. 3 of the big sort of 6 from normal Premier League status in there. But West Ham, if we go and have a look at the table, we'll find that they're doing pretty well as well. They're sitting in 4th position currently. And it's the likes of Tottenham and slightly Arsenal that are come out of that top 5 or 6. And the likes of West Ham jumping in instead of them. We remain just ahead of Tottenham in the table by 1 point, and we are 6 points behind the next team above us, which is our opponents today, Arsenal. So if we could find a way to get an amazing win and cut that gap, then I think that really secures our top half of the finish for this sort of season. But if we lose, which, to be fair, would be perfectly doable for us, wouldn't it, really, at this point against a team like Arsenal, then maybe there is still a chance that we can drop below that 10th place spot. But if we can finish in this top half for this second season in the Premier League, that is utterly ridiculous. I don't think, if I'm totally honest, that our squad is quite as good as that. I think we've been getting more out of them than maybe we should have been able to. And you can see that it's shown a little bit in just this particular column here, the goal difference. The teams directly around us have all got positive goal difference, and we are on 0. We've scored exactly the same as we've let in this season. So it's been a close season in a lot of results, but ultimately, we are doing fantastically well. So let's see if we can continue that today as we take on one of the traditional Big 6 in Arsenal. So we do have a couple of issues in personnel for today. The first one is that Nico Williams, our right fullback, is out. He's out for a couple of days, nothing more, but there's no point in trying to risk him. Similarly, Joe White is not in the squad at all. He's got a little bit of a fitness issue that we're trying to get him back. We do have Dudita on the bench just because I think he's the best option that we've got. His fitness issues means that he can only play 45 minutes today, but he's an option off the bench anyway. And the other one, which is really unfortunate, is that Gonzalez, our holding midfield player, is suspended for this match, having picked up too many yellow cards. So Sambol will play in his position, and that's not too bad. He's done pretty well for us when he's had to play. The squad is quite balanced this time round, I think. We haven't got too many positions where if our main player goes out, then we struggle immensely. There's 1 or 2 little ones, like maybe at right fullback would be an option to try and improve if we could. But other than that, I think we're doing pretty well. So, for today's match against Arsenal in the Premier League, we're going with Wendell in goal, Fink at right back, Fenn at left back, Mavropanos and Colombini in central defence, Sambol, Goodwin and Morrison in central midfield, Bondor on the right, Izvikov on the left and Abu Bakar up top, with a bench of Baptiste, Benamor, Barry, Thompson, White, Dudita and Henderson. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So I've gone fairly positive in terms of the team talk. Outstretched the arms, said if we pick up from where we left off, that would be fantastic. In the last couple of matches, we've done very well. I'm not so worried about today in terms of if we win or we lose. It's okay. A win would be fantastic. A loss wouldn't be a surprise necessarily. So it's a bit of a free hit, really, anytime at the moment that we come up against one of these top 6 sides, the historical top 6 anyway, with Arsenal just sitting outside of it this season. So ultimately, it's just about our own performance, really. It's about competing well and doing the things that we can do well enough to try and cause a bit of a problem to Arsenal if we can. But ultimately, I'm focused on ourselves, not really them at this particular moment. So they get a chance down their left-hand side. They work it very nicely through. They have a shot from quite a narrow angle that the goalkeeper manages to parry away for a corner kick. Keeps us under a little bit of pressure, though. Can we get a clearance? We can't, but the goalkeeper's hands are really secure on that occasion, right down his sights, but he held it very, very nicely. And a little bit of pressure from Arsenal in this first half. We managed to sustain a 0-0 still, which is fantastic. And we are absolutely doing what I set out to do, really. Arsenal have had 4 shots at goal, 4 on target, which is great for them. But we've had 3 and 2, so we're not that far behind. And we've dominated the possession a little bit more than they have. So ultimately, I'm not too disheartened here, and we get a corner kick and a goal just at the end of this first half, and that is fantastic. Izvikov, I think it was, on that far side, putting it into the near post, and it's Sambol, the reserve central defensive midfielder that's come in today for Gonzalez, if you remember, and he is on the end of that particular corner kick cross in, and he does a really good job of directing his header past the goalkeeper. And again, a bit like recently when we played Man City, you can't really underestimate us anymore. We are potent enough to cause problems. We may not be the best team in the division by a long way at this point, but we're getting better all the time and we're competitive in pretty much every game that we play. So 6 shots for them, 5 on target, 5 and 3 for us. Their XG rating is slightly better. We've done very well with what we've had, and we have that 1-0 lead. So into half-time, we can continue with the positivity. I'm delighted with the performance. Keep it up. We're not going to put any pressure on them to keep it up. We're not going to go and start shouting and screaming at them from the sidelines at this particular moment. We're just going to let them play and see what happens, because anything from this particular fixture is still a bit of a bonus. Let's face it. Goodwin on the approach play, and then kind of messes it up a little bit. He should have been a little bit more patient with his build-up. He takes a long shot very early, and it doesn't really hurt anything. We get another chance, though, down this right-hand side from a throw-in. We've worked it nicely to keep the ball. Pressure is on us a little bit, but we're working it nicely again. Fink, who took the original throw, is now on, and Morrison into Abu Bakar, and there's a challenge in the box, but we don't get a call from it, but we maintain possession, and it's found its way down the left-hand side this time, and Abu Bakar getting involved again, and that was a better attempt by Goodwin. That first one was a bit of a sighter for him. The goalkeeper has to actually parry that over, and on this occasion, the swinging corner and the looping header doesn't do quite enough to beat the goalkeeper, and he clutches the ball nicely. Can he set Arsenal going? He can't. Kind of. We cleared it first off in the header from Colombini, but it goes into midfield, and Arsenal do indeed get that ball back again. Izvikov. Oh, we were very lucky there, weren't we? I think there's an offside, but we were lucky. But Izvikov has to be a bit careful down that far side. He went in for a challenge there, and he's already on a yellow card. I think we might be bringing him off in a couple of seconds after this highlight, just to protect that, because he certainly looked like he was having a bit of a niggle at one of their players, having already been booked. We've worked that very nicely. The goalkeeper getting involved in the play very nicely. Goodwin again at the top of the box. Again, can't quite manage to put his shot on target. He's getting into some very good positions, and we are actually earlier than I'd like, going to go in, and we are going to put Dudita in. He can play 45 minutes for us. We're going to ask him to do slightly less than that in his rehabilitation from a bit of an injury, but I can't allow that yellow card to stay there, because if he goes in for one more challenge, he's probably done for the game, let's face it. So With half an hour to go, we've made one change. We're playing pretty well. We've had a couple of siders from Goodwin that haven't really challenged the goalkeeper enough. Dudita, first opportunity for him to make a mark on this game, and he finds Morrison very nicely. And Morrison was quite unlucky, couldn't quite get it past the goalkeeper one-on-one. But again, a really lovely, good sweeping counter-attacking move, which is fantastic to see. And we are causing them all number of issues. Still with the higher percentage, we still don't have as good an XG rating as they do, which doesn't bode well for us for the last 15 minutes of the match. But ultimately, we still have that 1-0 lead. We're going to go into the tactics, make a couple more changes, see whether we can impact this game. Abu Bakar not having a best of games, so Henderson will replace him. And then Bondor on that right-hand side, also with a low rating and a yellow card. We're going to put William White, who is usually our main guy down that side anyway. We're going to put him in. Those are the changes that we're going to be able to make for this particular occasion. Don't need to change anything of the way we play. I don't really feel there's no point in us going defensive too much, because it will just draw them on to us even more than they already are, I feel. And that was a good opportunity for them, and they don't quite make the most of it. If they can do that for the next 10 minutes, then we are absolutely in for a real surprise 3 points here. They are ahead of us in the table, remember, by 6 points. So we needed to try and close that gap if we could. And we're still putting the pressure on, and we're still having a good amount of percentage of possession. But there's a chance for them to counterattack. They didn't quite make it work for themselves. And we are a couple of minutes away in injury time here from a really fantastic win. Another really unexpected 3 points, along with a couple that we've received recently. And we do get it. We were competitive. And that's all I've been asking for all the way through the match. We had a similar amount of shots at goal and on target. Their XG rating was much better than ours. So that shows that they created better chances, but they didn't put them away. And with 56% of the possession of the football, I think we controlled the game as much as we could. We caused them enough problems, and we come away with a fantastic 3 points. So obviously we were 6 points behind Arsenal before the match, so we haven't been able to catch them up by any stretch, but we are now 3 points behind them. And we've got a positive in the goal difference column all of a sudden. And we're getting a bit of a gap to those behind us. The likes of Tottenham have got a game in hand over us, so they could close that gap. But Bournemouth, sitting in 10th position at the moment with a game in hand, are currently 7 points behind us. So I think this top half finish is definitely on now. I think that result does us the world of good. We've got some tricky ones coming up, as we've seen. But for next episode, we've basically got one more game to play. Off the camera, we're going to be playing Man United, West Ham, Liverpool, Brentford and Sheffield United to close out the season. A couple of really challenging games, as we've already spoken about, in the month of April. But the actual run in itself, Brentford, Sheffield United, Aston Villa, not too bad. And you and I will return for next episode against Villa to see how we can close out this season and how high up we could potentially finish. If we can finish 8th, I'll be very, very happy with that. If we could find a way to jump over Arsenal, that would be a ridiculous season for the second season in the Premier League. But whichever happens now, we've done fantastically well this season. Everything has gone our way as much as we could ever possibly have asked it to do. We do sit 8th in the Premier League. And again, we get a chance in the summer now to continue to build ourselves and move ourselves forward, which is fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Anyway, that's going to basically do it for today. There's not much more to say, really, other than what a fantastic result that was for us. So thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying this particular season. I know that I am. Who knows what's to come next season? We'll have to wait and see. But until then, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode. That'll help me get seen by lots more people. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.